So boys, today we're reacting to a tier list video because I kinda got triggered. So let's do this shit.
I will be ranking all the Rome 2 factions on the tier list for land and siege battles. Because in my previous tier list ranking, which I made 2 or 3 years ago, I was very biased towards sieges and
So basically what happened is I just looked at the end of the video. Where was it? Somewhere near the end, and I saw the most terrible ODK comp I've ever seen. Where was it? Fuck, it won't show. Well, it was about here, and then I saw the land comps, and then I was like, I have to make a reaction video, bro. This is way too shit. Sorry to say, but the land thing is so bad. I wouldn't want any new player to look at it and take it as advice. The siege one was also questionable, so yeah, I'll just give my take. I also have ready tier list for siege and land, and let's see in the comments later. Just tell me who is more right, me or Fight Me.
you guys noticed that, and that is so Arvern definitely also not very average faction. And what do I mean with that? Their units doesn't really stand out, but they're definitely also not lacking. They got the chosen swords and the longbow hunters. The Ozone will be focused down in siege battles, and that's why I have to rank it at B tier. And for land battles, I also have to put it at B tier, but very close to the A tier, because I use.
Okay, let's see where I put Arverni. For siege, I put them in A tier, and same for land. I mean, for land, Arverni will basically destroy any Greek faction and any lower tier faction almost with ease. And against Eastern factions, you can do an adequate rush against Kiters, so it should work out fine. But they can't really compare to Boyai, to Partia. And maybe they should, yeah, they probably should be better than Iceni, but yeah, in A tier for sure. And for siege, I put them in A tier as well. Because, I mean, they probably should be in B tier, but yeah, they're kind of dumpable, but I really like them. You can grab some chaotic, some Joan swordsman. You can Sakura charge freely if you're on the defense. An attack, I won't attack with this faction because of the fact that it's so dumpable. Just defense. But for example, Arverni and another faction like Arverni Party, Arverni Saba is such an insanely strong combination of factions. And especially for TWO, this faction is only -2, and it can almost do as well as Boyai if you Psycho Church and play good enough and don't get dumped. So yeah, I really like this faction, but objectively it should probably be in B, yeah.
Arverni as a comparison for all faction becomes. With the Pontus was in the early ages of Rome 2 a very strong faction, everyone used it. Then the meta really changed towards more barbarian factions, stronger factions, and Pontus wasn't really popular. But Pontus is now back in the picture because of their strong Peltas units and their Furious Spears.
Okay, this is just one of the ways to play Pontus. I mean, it's not that back in the picture, this isn't that strong, which is why in Total League Siege you don't see any matchup like Pontus being picked. You only see them in group stage because they're not that great of a faction.
Together with their cheap Pontic sword. That's why I have to rank Pontus from F or D tier, also towards B tier, just behind Arverni.
I don't think so. Also, bro, where the fuck is your C tier? Just tell me where your C tier is, and where is your A tier? What the fuck? Anyways, I put them in C tier. Is this the siege? Yeah, it's the siege one. Because basically, you have Pila, right? But that's who the fuck won't expect you to bring Pila? And then you're really dumpable. like your Taurus Spears are dumpable, your Pontic Swords are dumpable. So I think Pontus is situational. Like if you are defending on a map like I know, like Babylon, where you can abuse the pillar, like it can be pretty decent. But on a more balanced map, on a map where defenders can just abuse you with archers because you only have shitty Eastern archers, what the fuck are you going to do? They're just going to dominate you in the missile fight, and it won't end well for you. But yeah, I put Pontus at C, and I put Pontus same C here because well, for land it's not the easiest faction, but it's not exactly weak, so I'll put it like as a mid-tier faction, really. And also for Pontus, selling out is also viable with like Naked Swords for 380, with Cappadocians, with Eastern Slingers. It's not like as strong as Partier Saba, but you can still do it and surprise your opponent, because pretty much everyone, well except me and Jaime, I guess, will think Pila spam when they see Pontus, and you can just surprise them and just destroy them because they won't be prepared for it, especially if they're newer players. Okay.
For sieges at least, because everyone knows that the Pontic Swords have very low health, and if you shoot them they will die instantly almost, and that is their big weakness. But if you combine it with a ton of Furious Spears and a ton of Peltas, which are very strong for Pontus, you create an insane army to fight against, which is a pain in the ass, especially on defense. For land battles it's also very strong, but the thing
yeah, this is a dog shit build. Don't think this build
is your Pontic Swords will always lose the baseline fight against almost every mid-tier unit. But
I mean, to be honest, I'm mostly kidding. It's fine build, but it's like 4 out of 10.
Will hold up and do some damage, but it doesn't give you a nice feeling if you know you're going to lose the infantry fight, and then you have to compensate with the carry and the missile fight. While Averni got very cheap and strong slingers compared to Pontus, which got more expensive slingers, so the slinger fight is also not in favor of Pontus, but the carry fight is in favor of Pontus. And you can bring horse archers, but you can counter those with a bunch of Levi Freeman.
But how is the slinger fight in favor of? I mean, okay.
In the back lines and the sides to zone off the horse archers. So that's why I have to also rank it behind Averni, because you...
I mean, yeah, because of the infantry, right? But
you will lose the missile and the infantry fight, and it's hard to compensate with carry. You need to be a very skilled player for that. So next up we got
I guess, yeah.
Galatia is another very strong faction and definitely belongs in the A tier for sieges. It got the Galatian Legionaries, which are an amazing strong unit. Furthermore, you got the Syrian Archers, which is a very strong unit for sieges. So this one definitely belongs in A tier for sieges. For land battles too.
Land battles. Where the fuck is your missile cav? What the fuck? This is a siege build.
You got the Cappadocian cavalry, you win the baseline from Averni with the Legionaries, and you got the same slingers. And Galatia got
also this build would be legal. I think most of his land builds would be legal in most rules, because it's 9 swords. Usually, I mean, some tournaments are 5 swords, but most are like 7 or 8. So this would be legal, and it's also bad because he doesn't have any Javcav. So it will be pretty easy to deal with this, especially with something like Chrome, Artalis, or Boyai, or even Arverni. So this is not a good build.
Cavalry, you win the baseline from Averni with the Legionaries, and you got the same slingers. And Galatia got also the option to bring the Skirmish Cavalry. So
he brought the dog shit Skirmish Cavalry. You almost never take these guys. You almost always take the guys for 390, because these guys only have 10 armor and they can get destroyed by pretty much all horse archers and other Javcav, because the other Javcav has like 40 armor, for example the Rennie horse. So this is again a bad build. I mean, it's usually 4 or 5 of the same. This is more like a build against randoms.
Galatia is definitely a better all-around faction. You only lack elites, which are really...
Why is the Rix C though? Like, it's one of the best factions in the game. Why is it C?
Really can bring. Next up we got Egypt.
I'm surprised he didn't mention the general dying for Galatia. Usually in most of my battles, the moment the Galatian general dies, because I think the units are not disciplined, the battle ends. So you must really be careful not to use your gen. I put Galatia in S tier, like at the bottom of S tier, because I think, I mean, it's part of the one of the best attacks. Well, before Taras showed up, like Chrome Galatia, this would be the strongest attack you can get. So you have Galatian legions which will beat tribals. They'll beat, I think, sword followers, and they'll probably trade evenly with veteran legionaries. Although I'm not sure which one will win. Maybe the veteran leaders if it's in like column formation in a street, because that favors the Romans more. But if the units can spread out, it's probably more even, or even in Galatian leaders' favor. But yeah, you have Syrians, you have Cav to counter Sally. Galatia is really good. You even have the cheap Chaff Cav with like 41 missile damage to shoot at cataphracts outside. So yeah, I really think it should be in S tier, not A tier. For land, it's also in S tier. It just really good faction overall, but it's harder to use than Boya and Talis, which is why I put it in, below them in S tier. And again, you really must be careful of your gen dying, because a chain route might occur, especially if it's bad timing. So let's go on.
So Egypt for land battles is not my favorite faction. I actually have to rank it in D or F tier. It got the 4x swords, which is okay. Their carry are shit. They got the citizen cav. I call it citizen because they are shit. They can hold out, but it's not amazing. The Egyptian carry for 60 more. Sometimes I bring them, but most
Wait, why does he pronounce cav as carry?
of the times I stick with the citizen carry because they are low armored and a little bit weak in my opinion. They got a good missile force, but their carry is weak and their infantry doesn't really stand out. The only way to pull Egypt off against a strong faction is with the Galatian Royal Guard and some Egyptian infantry.
Nah.
For sieges, it's definitely a little bit stronger with the Cretan archers. The question is, would I pick it over Pontus? Yes, I would definitely rank it over Pontus, but not over Arverni. So next up we got Nabatea.
Well, for me, Egypt is, where's Egypt? Yeah, it's B tier. I really like its level, the Levi 2 arrows. I really like the Cav gen. The Cav gen is really good. I like the Torque swords, the Sobecotes. It's a great faction overall. It's probably, I mean, I don't know, it was kind of hard for me to rank this faction because, well, I usually just Sally. But Egypt should be maybe next to Athens and Syracuse. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a really good faction. And then you also have the Rotork swords, which are also great. But yeah, it's one of the best factions with Scarians in the game, I would say. So Egypt will make almost every defense pretty strong if it's picked. If only because of the Sobecotes. And for land, I put... Where did I put it in? Yeah, I put in B, because an elephant build with Egypt is kind of scary, because you can just spam a lot of cav with the Tarantines and then citizen cav or even Egyptian cav. You can also bring light cav. You can also kite with them. Against Greeks, you can bring Galatian roll card, but only against Greeks. You can do quite a lot of things with it, really. So it's kind of like an average, I would say, like about average, and it's less predictable than Seleucids, which is why it's one tier above. Okay.
And everyone probably thinks Nabatea is very strong in land battles with their very strong noble carry, which costs 800. but
No.
I'm really not a fan of him for land battle. And why is that? They get very hard counted against a faction with horse archers or horse skirmishers. Their
Yeah.
infantry is not very nice for land battles because they have the armored desert hoplites, which is a very nice unit, but it kills slowly, and you can only bring the 500 cost archer units.
This is one of the worst number 10 build I have ever seen. Like, this shit would work prior to 2019, like before the spaghetti patch, because the hoplites were really good. Like, these hoplites basically have almost the same stats as the Lirno hoplites, just less armor and like less health. So they were great, like, offensively, because you charge in and use the phalanx. But now you can't do that because the hoplite will bug out. So they're pretty much unusable. So what you do is two things. Either spam a lot of cav and like Axe Horse and the cheap Nabatian Swordsman and just do full rush, or you try to kite. But I don't think you can kite against a faction with Tarantines or Horse Archers. Because as FightMe pointed out, they don't have any answer to horse archers really. Like, you only have cam archers, but they don't have punch and shot for some reason. So they're useless in land battle.
As your missile force, and that makes it a very expensive faction, and that's why I have to rank it at D tier. But the question is it above or behind Egypt? And I would rank it behind Egypt, because with the Glacial Warrior Guard option, the cheap Egyptian
I agree. Sorry, I disagree. They're just better than Egypt.
swords, etc. Which Nabatea doesn't really have cheap units with Pila, and that puts it behind Egypt. But probably a bunch of you guys disagree with me. For Sieges, I like it a lot more. It definitely earns a B tier. The armored desert hoplites in Sieges are very strong because they got high armor, high melee defense, high charge bonus, and in hoplite war even stronger. So, and together with the strong missile force, it's a very useful faction to have in Sieges, and that's why I have to put it at B tier. And Nabatea really lacks Pila, especially with their hoplites. Because of that, I have to rank it behind Pontus. But it really depends what you need in Sieges. Next, we got Lusitania.
Okay, Lusitania is not B tier. As you saw, I put in D tier. The issue is that they don't have, I mean, the hoplites are decent, but Nabatea itself is not that strong. For example, with Burdigala, last season my team tried hard to win like a single attack with Nabatea. It didn't work. Like, Nabatea just got cooked every time, and we just decided to attack with something different. Like, Nabatea is just not that not that good of a faction. Like, it's a group stage faction. It's not really a playoff faction, and so I don't think it deserves to be P. Maybe low C, maybe, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't really like Nabatea a lot, honestly.
Lusitania is an interesting faction. It got the potential to be...
It's not F-Risk. What the fuck are you talking about? How is it C for missiles when you have Balearics? What the fuck? How is it B for Cav when you only have Skutari Cav? Also, infantry is so dumpable. Why is it A?
A, S, or B tier faction. But for Sieges, I can't even rank it at B tier. It's
What?
D or F. There is basically...
What?
no option to bring Lusitania on attack. You can only bring it on defense.
No, you can bring it on attack and like Sayer maps. What are you talking about?
And if you play against semi-competent players, all their archers will be focusing at your unit. And in this way you have to play very different with your units and very careful, which will hurt your teammates' units. And that's why it's just a risky and pain in the ass faction. The Balearic Slings are very strong, especially in Sieges, but I can't rank it at D. I have to rank it at F, because it's just...
this is probably going to be his worst take ever. I ranked it a B. Like, look at the jump. Lusitania is one of the best Sally factions. I've even won in practice games against, I think we were playing against J-Barbs and and Senis, like in top 5 of people in Siege. And it was against Macedon Taras, one of the most notorious combos, at least last season, for group stage, because there's almost nothing you can do, because Taras was like +2, I think. So it was broken as fuck. With my Lusitania, I could just neutralize one faction and still have half army left. And that was against Macedon, which is like, oh, let's see, I guess. But also, Luztani almost every time can beat any faction 1v1 outside. So it's pretty reliable. Unless you get countered by Calfrax, I guess. But then you can't do anything. Yeah, you just have Balearics, which can trade well with enemy Cretans. And even if you lose the fight, the Cretans waste so much ammo. And then you can just throw attention from the city and let your teammate cook, because the enemy will become too over aggressive, and you can punish that. And if they focus on you, then your teammate will have such an easy time microing, and yeah, your teammate will just win the battle for you. So Lustani just it's one of the best Sally factions, like no cap. It's such a great faction. It cannot be lower than B. This is this is insane. And also on attack, there are some maps where Lustani can cook. I mean, most of these maps are in group stage in TDWO, but yeah, it can cook. So bad take here.
Just way too risky. For land battles, it's a little bit safer because you don't have a lot of skirmish time in land battles. So if you just rush in with your infantry and trying to get around with your cavalry and pin down their missiles, you can do some good damage in land battles. That's why I have to also put it at D tier, but definitely under Egypt and Nabatea. Getae
for land, I put it in D as well. The thing is, in land it's actually risky. It's far more riskier than in siege, because land is also usually 1v1s, and your micro has to be really good, because one miss cav charge and the enemy gets cav charge on your veterans, and then they'll just die in the infantry fight. And if your veterans cannot get kills, you're just going to lose the game. It's simple as that. And since your veterans are so fragile, like they have less mass, they have less armor, if they get touched by anything, by cav or by missiles, or you get kited, it's not going to end well for you. So your micro has to be on point, and also it depends on the matchup. A lot of the matchups are just pretty much unwinnable against, for example, against Suevi, it's almost unwinnable. And like against missile cav, you cannot do anything, because you have to go with like veteran, like a lot of veterans. You have to go with Skutar cav. Then what do you have left? Some slingers. And then you don't have cheap spears to zone out the cav. So yeah, you're just kind of fresh meat for like Eastern factions. Even for Chimera. Like Chimera can absolutely demolish Luztani. So it's really vulnerable. And this is why it's in D tier.
in land battles is one of my favorite factions. It's easy at A tier. I will think about it to put it in even maybe above Glacier. You can bring 4 Getae nobles easy. You don't need more, you don't need
No.
less. They will smash through every baseline there is. Support it with your 4 mercenary X-Men. Then bring some cheap carrier, which are pretty nice to have for 550. And you can always go with the horse archers, which is the only barb faction with horse archers and shock carry. I usually don't bring the shock carry. What I do when I know the enemy can bring skirmish carry, I bring 2 archers to counter. I'll put them at the sides / back. And if the horse archers are coming close, they will have a larger range and a lot of armor, so they can easily counter the horse archer. And you can always use them to shoot
Again, no.
the infantry. Furthermore, you got 2 very strong Peltas units, and that makes it just a very strong faction. But I don't put it above Galatia because it's harder to use, and you don't have cheap slingers, which will put you a little bit in trouble.
You know what the iron is? Get this hard counter to Galatia.
In the missile fight. But it's definitely at A tier, but just behind Galatia. And for sieges, I have to put it at D tier. The elite.
Okay. For sieges, I also put it in D tier. Because just it's an elite spam and it's vulnerable to Pila. Like that's basically it. It's not that great of a faction, which is again why it's always picked in group stage and never in playoffs, like at least for TWO. It's, I mean, that's the best way you can like rate these factions on tier list. Are they picked in playoffs? If it's just in group stage, then it's usually like the faction is C tier at best. Okay, in land I put in B. I think it's my mid to high tier, but not more than that. Like your horse archers, even though they 40 damage, they're super slow, so they just get countered by any factions with any faction with decent JFCAF or decent horse archers. So it's not great. Like the only time I actually use horse archers is when I'm kind of smurfing. Or like playing against new players or against people that are mainly siege players. So I'm just having fun with the shit unit, basically. Usually you go like 4 noble swords, 4 axe warriors, or 5-3. Then like 4 archers, like some spears, some spear horsemen, and then you just rush. And you use the archers to maybe focus the enemy gen or focus the enemy cav, because your cav isn't going to survive for long. But yeah, Getty is pretty strong in land battles. I'd say mid to high tier, yeah.
Get focused down. You can only bring like 6 of them or something, and that's why it's a very risky faction. The only good thing is they're archers, but again, an expensive unit. That's why you can only bring a very small army with Gete on attack, especially defense. And you can get focused down very easy. So that's why it's a D tier. So next up we got Saba. Everyone knows that Saba is a beast of a faction. For land battles, S tier, 100%. No
I mean,
just annihilate units, especially infantry.
There's no way we will disagree with Saba. Everyone knows that Saba is like the best faction.
A whole Pila volley and none of the camels will die. I don't think I have to explain why it's at S tier in land battles. That's also S tier in siege battles. You got the mass belt Marauders for 660, which is no money. Amazing strong unit with 36 charge bonus. You can destroy your units with just cycle charging. It's just broken for the cost. And the same counts for the camel cataphracts. And you can bring cheap slingers and you have a full strong army. And it's
yeah, too bad it's banned TWO.
It's just very hard to counter and a really pain in the ass to fight against. Next up we got Bactra, and Bactra is a good all around faction. For land battles it's very nice, but also
Bactra. Yeah, Bactra is pretty good.
Siege battles. You got the strong Syrian archers for siege battles, together with your 4x swords, 4 spears, Bactrian hillmen, which are nice and cheap. And you even got the Bactra
2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, this is classic Bactra.
Beltas, which you got 10 ammunition, very armored. So I have to put Bactra above Pontus, but behind Egypt for siege battles. A very strong faction for defense. And for land battles, they got to be in the same category as Pontus. These are very similar factions. They got the Bactra noble carry, which are similar to the Cappadocians of Pontus. They got the 4x swords, which will win you the infantry fight against Pontus. Slingers are the same, horse archers also the same, and that's why I have to put it above Pontus, because you will win the infantry fight. And next up we got Sparta.
No. Usually Pontus wins. Pontus is just better than Bactra because Pontus has more units, it has cheaper units, so Pontus will usually win. Of course you need to have decent micro with Pontus, but yeah, Pontus usually wins, so Pontus should be, yeah, I put Bactra behind Pontus.
So Sparta is a fun one. It's a hard to use faction for land and sieges. And as you guys know, they don't have sword or pila units. But the one thing they do have is the Royal Spartans. These are literally tanks. They don't die, they kill everything surrounded, doesn't matter. And for sieges, you can bring a very strong elite force, which is also armored, together with strong archers.
Dog shit build.
And you can bring tortoises with this. And that's why I like it more than Gete. And that's why I have to put it at B tier or top of D tier. And yeah, I have to rank it at top of D tier because it's definitely not in the same category.
Definitely worse than Gete.
Of these factions. Their big weakness is slingers and pila. If you slinger and pila the Royal Spartans, that will hurt them a lot because of the armor piercing. But you can counter their archers with your archers, and you can just destroy infantry if you don't get pila. And for land battles, it's definitely harder to use. You got the armored skirmish carry, but you can bring
a decent, I guess. I'm usually bringing pikes though, but yeah, it's not the worst faction in land, but it's not the best. It's probably better in 2v2s where your teammate can like support you with cav. Because usually what happens with Sparta is that your dogshit units die almost immediately, and then you cannot defend your slingers because your cav is also kind of dogshit. And then it's only like 5 units against 20 units, so that won't end well.
some Royal Spartans, but the support units are just trash, absolutely trash. And I just don't often see Sparta win in land battles. But you got the Gorgo skirmishers, don't forget that, always bring those. Those are amazing slingers. Next up we got Kush. I think Kush is definitely a fan favorite for most of you guys, at least in siege battles. You got the armored Shotaus, and the normal Shotaus are also very strong, just low in armor and health. And that's why most of the people bring just the armored Shotaus, which is just a very strong, almost broken unit. Just look at their melee damage. Their only weakness is their melee defense. But for your more, they got decent archers, but never bring the expensive archers for Kush. And they got amazing slaves, which is a very nice supportive unit for the armored Shotaus. So elite spamming for Kush is very strong.
Where's the disciples? Where's the disciple? At least one. What the fuck?
And that's why I have to rank this faction above the elite spams of Getae and Sparta. But the question is, would I have Kush or Pontus on defense? Or Kush or Nabatea, Kush or Bactria, Kush or Egypt, Kush or Arverni? I don't know. I would rather have this faction, which got a lot more units, more baseline, more Pila, stronger archers, most of them, compared to Kush. And that's why I want to keep it in the D tier category, because it's another elite spam. It doesn't have torches, but it's stronger than Sparta for sure. But for land battles, it's definitely harder to use. So there's one secret army, which I always use for Kush, which I'm now going to expose to you guys, and that is this. And you guys...
How the fuck is this a secret army? Like, it's basically a worse version of the meta Kush, which is just bring disciples, like at least 5, bring Kushite slaves, bring some slingers, then bring Kaf. Like, I think the meta was like bring 2 of these guys, then bring more of these guys, or was it 5 disciples? I kind of forgot because this build is boring as fuck. But it's also shit. In TWO, I literally managed to beat this build with an ODK kite build. I'm not even kidding. In TWO, I went against like Emperor Bubbles, and he brought something similar, and I just won with an ODK calf heavy build. And like kite build. And everyone knows that you're bringing the disciples. Everyone. Like, what else are you going to bring? So it's one of the most predictable and the worst factions.
Probably not think like this is not even strong, but trust me, it is. Your enemy will see a ton of light units, and it's hard to see whether they are slaves or disciples of the epidemic. And once the disciples of the epidemic hit the enemy unit, it will slaughter it in a matter of seconds. You just need 4 of them to melt down their whole baseline, and just use the slaves to support it and to battle buddy it and to soak up Pila, etc. And you got your calf just to hold off their calf. Most of the times you don't need any missiles. You just need some carry to hold off their carry and to soak up some charges of the enemy.
But Nabatea is dog shit. Who the fuck is playing Nabatea? I'm getting triggered.
And trust me, I've used it against very strong players like J-Barbs.
How the fuck is J-Barb strong in land?
Which is a very strong land battle player.
Okay.
I just annihilated him, and nothing he could do.
Nothing he could do. Like, the build is dog shit. What do you mean nothing he could do? The build is shit. Like, it's terrible. Like, almost every, like, 70% of his army shouldn't be brought against Kush. Like, the hoplites. It's like, this battle was just to showcase how powerful Kush was. Because, like, even below average player wouldn't bring this against Kush. No way. It's like if you're playing against Saba and you're bringing naked warriors. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is not real. Like for Nabatea, if J-Barbs brought like shock calf, like brought a bunch of calf, then brought maybe a bunch of archers, go like Fokite, and then Kush will go too aggressive because Kush will try to catch up to the archers, and then Kush will just lose all the calf, and then Nabatea wins. That's it. End of the story. Unless Nabatea's micro is dogshit, Kush cannot win.
Just surround your enemy with your units. Even a lot of missiles won't counter because you just don't have enough. And that's why I have to rank it at B tier, but still behind all of these factions because it's hard to use. But if you can pull it off, you can destroy it. Next up, we got Iceni. Iceni is another very all-around good faction, and it's better than Arena because you got the painted warriors, which have the scare effect, which can break the enemy lines.
Miso is not say you have Britain Stingers.
You got decent cheap carry, and your slingers will win the missile fight. So you win the infantry fight against Arverni, and you will win the missile fight against Arverni. The only problem is their carry, but you can play defensively with Levi Freeman and cheap carry. Carry supported by Levi Freeman is always a W. So you have to rank Iceni for land battles above Arverni, and definitely in the A tier. And yeah, I would rank it even above Getae. But for siege battles, I have to rank it under Arverni because they don't have the option to bring archers, which is very nice for sieges. But these are like
okay, where did I put it? I put it in A. Yeah, together with Aravachi. because Iceni, Arvachi are countering, for example, Tars, like just good singer factions. And they're always picked in playoffs. Nobody's picking Iceni in group stage. Nobody. Just because of how good they are. Like, it should be in A tier. I put them also in A tier because I really like their chariots. I really like their slingers and overall their playstyle. Although usually they would lose to something like Carvarni. I just really like them. I also like them against Masesili. Masesili should be in A maybe, but I don't know. We'll get there when FightMe covers that faction.
Like very close to each other. For defense, I probably even prefer Iceni, but their low tiers are just a little bit worse than the Celtic Warriors. And next up we got Macedon. Macedon is the Arverni for land battles, but then for sieges. I compare everything
What?
towards Macedon. Macedon is the Arverni for land battles, but then for sieges. I compare
What the fuck does that mean? Macedon is the venue for land battles. Okay. That makes no sense.
everything towards Macedon because I consider Macedon the baseline. Well, you got the 4x swords, you got the Furious Spears, you got decent carry with the sailing carry, you got Cretan archers, you just got everything, but it's not amazing, let's say so. But the good thing is that you have Tauruses, which Nabatea, Pontus, Bactria, and Egypt don't have. And this is also the reason I put it above all of these factions. They just lack low and high tiers, but the ability to bring Tauruses definitely compensates for that. Macedon on land battles is a whole different story. Yes, you got your
I guess Torts, yeah.
sailing carry, but you got no low tiers, and you just got the 4x swords. I know you got the Thracian warriors, but they're not really nice. They're a decent
That's wrong on so many levels.
counter carry unit, but they're just very expensive. Furthermore, you got decent slingers, but I don't see big killing powers for Macedon. Therefore, sailing carry will need to
Okay, so you say they're expensive, but you should run them up. Usually you bring 5 Thessalians. You bring like 4 or 5 Torque swords. You bring like about 3 Thracian warriors, and you bring like 4 cheap singers and like 3 Chavkav. Of course there are variations, but this is more of a kite build, I would say, or semi-kite maybe.
do the heavy lift.
But it's so bad and kinda ugly because of this one guy that's kinda just there because he didn't have enough money.
Which is very hard, and that's why I have to rank it behind Nabatea. Next up we got Epirus, and Epirus is another Tortoise faction, but it's another very hard to use faction. You got 2 options. You can go with the Royal Peltas spam, together with some Illyrian levies and some good archers, in sieges at least, or you can go with the more balanced out army with some Royal Peltas and the Semnite warriors, together with Furious Spears and some levies, and obviously the good archers, but you're definitely lacking in a lot of areas, and that's why this faction deserves the D tier. But I have to think where it deserves a spot at D tier. I do think it's better than Getae and Sparta. Do I think it's better than Kush? No. Even though you got Tortoises, that doesn't make it better than Kush. So that's why it's up here in D tier.
Okay.
For land battles, I like it a lot more. You see me often play Epirus, probably reminds you of the YouTuber Gormionir. Some of you guys might know him, because he always
Okay.
played Epirus. Do I think
Actually the only time I played with Gorm, I got triggered because I lost like 3v3 land battle with like siege players because he was kinda AFK during the entire battle.
Epirus is better than all these factions? It might be. It will have a rough time against them, but I definitely do think it has a chance. Because for land battles, like 2 elites with Samnites and
No.
some cheap units is all you need. And you got the stronger cavalry, together with decent missiles, and you can bring skirmish cavalry. People will probably call me crazy for this, but I have to put it at the top of D tier. And next up we got
I'll put next to Macedon, honestly. Did I put it next to? Yeah, I put it next to Macedon. I put it below Macedon because they don't have Thracian warriors, but it's all matter of preference, really. You only have like 3 summons, but you have Italian swords, so your infantry isn't that bad. So you have the Thessalians, you have the Tarentines, you have the Singers. You can kite with them. They also have elephants, although most people probably forget about that unit. So yeah, they're a pretty decent faction. It's really close to Macedon. It's almost the same faction, really. And for siege, I put them in C. On defense, they're really good with like pillar shit. So Um, yeah, I kind of like them. Also, not like they're decent as well.
Masacely, and everyone knows Masacely is basically a desert room, but much better in land battles. Why? Well, you got the legionaries which are strong. You got extremely strong skirmish cavalry.
Um, this is fine, but against again an illegal build.
The armored skirmish cavalry, which is very strong in combat, but can also use their pila. Furthermore, you got the skirmishers and slingers. You can bring both of them, and you got some cheap units which are also strong with high charge. So it's a very strong all-around faction, and it definitely deserves a spot at S tier. And for sieges, it's the same. You got the skirmishers for 540, which are broken. They are broken. Okay, they're much too cheap. They're like a Celtic warrior in combat. And furthermore, you can bring cohort. Their cavalry is very strong and very cheap. As a reminder for land battles,
Okay.
but it deserves also a spot at S tier for sieges. They're nice and armored. They're just a very strong faction. Next up, we got one of my
Okay. For Masacely, I put Masacely in low A next to like Hibernia and Partia because they just get psycho charged on the bridge, so they're kind of shit for attack. You don't have archers, so your teammate has to compensate for that, and it's kind of difficult to do archer fight 1v2. And then on defense, I don't think they're good on defense. Again, no archers. And the attackers can just psycho charge you. So I don't like this faction that much, honestly. But it's still decent because it basically has Roman infantry, but kind of worse Roman infantry, and can still like do really well in a grind. And also the peltas are great. But again, if you go with the peltas, like your teammate will have to compensate for your lack of archers. So it brings a certain weakness. For land, I put them like lowest S because the thing is, the Javkav is insane, the armor Javkav, and it can beat, for example, Talis, it can beat Arverni, it can beat a lot of these factions. It can beat, or even like Rome. Yeah, it can beat a lot of factions. Only with the the Javkav should get 200 kills at least every battle, if your micro is good enough, which is why it's in S tier. If it wasn't for the armored Nubian riders, no, it wasn't. I mean, armored Javkav, they would be low A probably, or even in B, because like almost the entirety of the strength of this faction is the Javkav. So yeah.
favorite factions, and that's Massilia. And why is it one of my favorite factions? Well, it's just because of one reason, and one reason only, and that's the Furious Spears. The Massilian Furious Spears are such a nice unit. They got 30 charge bonus and better melee attack than normal Furious Spear. And they just destroy in combat if you psycho charge them. And they got Pila. And if you stack them with 4x swords and sieges, it becomes unstoppable.
Yeah, it's a Pila spam.
And it's so hard to counter it. They can easily get so much value, and that's why this faction deserves an A tier ranking. It's 100% better than
It's not 100% better than Galatia.
Glacia, and everyone probably thinks why. Because Glacia got the Glacian Legionaries, right? I don't care. What can you bring a part of the Glacian Legionaries? Glacian swords? They will die to missiles or Pila or anything.
Yeah, I mean, Fight Me just lost his Pila, but he's wrong, of course. Massilia is more in B, like it's next to RD. So, yeah. In land, it's also B. I really like a full rush with this faction with like the cheap packs and Celtics. And like a lot of Hippeas and Tarantin Cav.
Free Spears will destroy, and they got armor, and it will give you a 20 stack of just mid tiers and a ton of Pila. Good luck countering that. I would put it even maybe above Masacely, but that's maybe a little bit too radical. But for
S tier, really?
land battles, it's a different story. For land battles, Massilia is not that good. It's a D tier for sure.
No.
But the nice thing is they got the Celtic Slingers, which is better than the Hellenic Slingers. And furthermore, you can bring a lot of mid tiers together with a bunch of
No.
carry. You always have too much money, so you have to bring some Hippeas carry, which is alright. And I would definitely prefer Massilia over Egypt and Epirus, because they also have the levy free.
Yeah, dog shit build. What is this? What am I watching? 9 Torque Swords. 9, bro, I would bring this in Siege, not in land. What do you mean? I cannot watch this.
So you can definitely make a strong army with Massilia. So that's why I put it at the top of D tier. So before making this tier list, I played every faction in land battles at least. Because in siege battles, I already know I played every faction a ton of times.
But you haven't played these factions enough because you don't know what they're doing.
In the beginning, I thought Nervii isn't that strong in land battles, but trust me, it is. It is very strong. You don't have to spam the fierce words. You can just bring a few together with 2 or 3 Oathsworn and some Celtic or Levy Freeman, together with some Mighty Horse and Slingers.
Yes. This is an alright build. The issue here is that he doesn't have any Germanic scouts, which is the fastest, one of the fastest scouts in the game.
You can build a very strong army. The Oathsworn will win against the Gete elites, the Fierce Warriors will win against the X-Warriors, and Nervii got Levy Freeman compared to Gete. They don't have horse archers, but I believe they got skirmish cavalry, and that's why I have to actually rank it above Gete, even though Gete is one of my favorites. For you guys, just try Nervii out.
Are they better than Gete? I don't think they are better than Gete, mainly because of the archers.
Out for land battles, it's very nice. But Nervii for sieges is another story. It's another elite spam army, and the elite spam army aren't just
It's not an elite spam army.
the meta in 2024. Everyone knows how to use Pila, and everyone knows that you just have to focus down the elites. And the Fierce Force are also very vulnerable to missiles. They got the Gallic Hunters, which is a nice guerrilla unit, but the question is it better than Gete? And I would say, I don't know, would I have it above Epirus? In a 1v1, Epirus would have a decent chance with all their First Spears and Missile Force to break down Nervii. Because of that, I have to rank it at the bottom of D tier. Next up, we got
The fuck? Okay. Nervii. I have it in B for siege, and B here as well. Damn, I'm kinda pretty consistent on my ratings, not gonna lie. B here because, well, yeah, the Fear Sword ability is pretty powerful, especially if your teammate can provide you space and take pillar and like archer fire for you, and then you come in and just destroy everything. Like Nervii can get 3k kills if they don't get shot. Here again, it's pretty strong. You have the Oathsworn, you have Chavcav, you have Mighty Horse. Like it's a great rush faction overall. It's one of the close matchups in land is Nervii against Iceni. It's like really good.
Erivachi. So Erivachi got the Scutari Infantry, which is a strong unit, a very strong cost-effective unit for 620. Their nobles are very
Again, missile C when they have Balearics.
risky for the price, and that's why you're forced to bring the Iberian swords with the Balearic Slingers. Balearic Slingers are amazing. Would I have it above Nervii, Gete, Sparta, Kush, Epirus? Yes. Would I have it above Nabatea? Maybe. It just depends what you need. But yeah, just as a reminder, they don't have archers, and that makes them just a little bit riskier. So I have to put it behind
No fucking way.
Nabatea, but this faction has the potential to be like amazing strong. Like Erivachi is or behind Nabatea, or it's behind Iceni. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I have to rank it behind Nabatea. Erivachi for land battles is a very nice faction. I will put it at B tier, because your infantry is just so strong, and you got the Scutari cavalry to support it. You got Chief Spearman for 200, which is also pretty strong.
Yeah, this is bad for land.
In combat, and you got some scare units, and I definitely think Erivachi will win against Massilia, Epirus, Egypt. But I also think it's easier to use. Looking at what we have left, we got all the very strong factions.
Okay, for Vachi I put in C for land, and I put it in A for siege. Like Balearics are just so strong, and Scutari are so cost effective, especially if you cycle. Like, come on, it can be fucking D tier. Behind fucking Nabatea. Shit, I cannot. In land it's C because it's kind of similar to Lusitani, but your infantry is kind of worse, but your cavalry is slightly better. So yeah, I mean, Erivachi will destroy almost all Greeks unless they miss micro and get charged by Hippias head on. But against barbarians, no way. You can try to kite, but it will be kind of hard. So, but yeah, that's basically Erivachi.
Stacked up at the end. So that will change the tier list a ton. But first we got Odrysian Kingdom. Odrysian Kingdom F tier, no doubt. They don't have the strong slingers of Lusitani, and their infantry is just way too risky. I won't even explain this. It just deserves a F tier. For land battles, it's definitely stronger. Definitely stronger than Sparta. It's still very risky, but their units are all very strong against cavalry and infantry. And because of that, I have to put it at D tier, but still behind Lusitani. Next up we got Parth.
Okay, for land I put in A tier behind Sparta, and in siege I put in D tier. I mean, you saw the finals in TWO. But the thing is, once the enemy picks ODK, you know that the other team will either lose or fall ally. So it's kind of predictable. I mean, it's strong, but it's very predictable. So you can make strats for it. In land, I believe it's far worse than in siege, because in land you just get kited. That's the end of the story. Like, You just get either outclassed by Pila, for example, if you try to charge Talis, you're just dead, or you just get kited. And late game, it's like your Thracian nobles that got like 100 or 200 kills, almost full strength, but they don't have anything to fight. You're just getting kited the entire game, and then you lose. That's basically the ODK experience in land. When you get a chance to fight someone, you most of the time do really well, but that's not the case, especially in tournaments. So yeah, RIP ODK.
Parthia. So for Parthia, you got the Parthian swords, which are basically the same as the 4x. You can bring the slingers, but you can also bring the 400 cost archers with precision shot and 14 missile damage. It just depends what you like for land battles. For sieges, you always have to bring the 400 cost archers. Furthermore, they got the Cataphracts, which is a very nice unit. For Parthia, I like to bring this army, and this is a pretty strong army. I do think
this is not a strong army for land battles.
land battles, this faction can beat a lot of factions. It's still at B tier though. The question is where at B tier. Can I defeat Ervachi? Well, their strong carry and their strong missiles counter Ervachi low armored units very good. So yeah, does it counter Kush? I would say it's better than Kush. Is it better than Pontus and Bactra? I wouldn't really say so. Even though they got the Cataphracts, I just prefer Pontus and Bactra. They're just all around better, and that's why I have to put it at B tier behind Pontus. For sieges,
yeah, exactly. Like you prefer Pontus and Bactra, but that doesn't mean party is fucking B tier, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, they're S tier. Like party is one of the hard factions, but if you can use them and if you can perfect Partia, you can beat pretty much any faction in the game. Like any faction, you can beat the Nomads, you can beat the Stronger Barbs, you can beat Saba, you can beat pretty much every faction in the game. The only reason why it's not the best is because it's just hard to use. So that's the only real reason. For Siege I put in A because it's just a strong Sally faction. That's it. And also it's good on attack when the map is more open and you can use the strength of the camels to just trample your foes.
This is a different story. It is strong. Is it great? No. You stuck with your 7 or 8 Parthian swords. It depends on what the rules are. You got some nice archers for 400 cost, but you definitely lack in the infantry department. On attack, these factions are definitely better than Parthia. But if you look at defense, which this faction is only used for, I would have to rank it at B tier because on defense it is still strong, and I have to rank it behind Ervachi. Next up we got
It honestly sounds like FightMe's ranking Parthia based on infantry alone. He didn't even consider the archers or the calf.
Pergamon. Pergamon, as you guys know, is probably one of my favorite factions. Their Agema spears
Oh, mother. Oops.
are broken. They're just straight up broken. They got 5 Pila rounds and they're strong in combat with expert charge defense. It just makes this unit amazing. You can combine it with some glacier swords or even more first spears, or just a pick.
I mean they're good, but are they broken? I don't think so. Like, have you ever seen Pergamon in finals?
Altas, which are also broken, and that puts this faction on defense but also on attack in A tier. But I have to be reasonable, and that's why I put it behind Glacier. But trust me, Pergamon can destroy if you use them right. For Lembados, it's a different story, guys. I have to be straight up. It's F tier. Their Gima.
It's not an F tier. Where did I put it? Yeah, D tier. Like, you can use like Galatian swords. There are 2 builds basically: Galatian sword spam, hip spam, some Tarantines, and then some cheap slingers and archers. Even if your army dies, you can still kite with the archers and slingers, or you can just go for rush with Galatian sword spikes and hip s. It's more of a rush, high micro faction, but it's just not in F tier. That's not happening. Siege I put in C tier because you just know Pila is coming. That's it. But they don't have any good archers, so again, you're forcing your teammate to compensate and to do archer fight 1v2. And if your teammate is not good enough with archers, good enough to outplay the enemy team, you're in a big trouble.
are useless in land medals, so you're stuck with Glacier Swords, you play a Scary or something like that. And yeah, the faction for land medals is just not great. So it definitely deserves a spot at F tier, but above Sparta, because they got the nice low tiers. But even Sparta would have a decent chance against Bergman. Next up, we got the faction Rome. So everyone knows Rome is a straight up S tier faction. It got tortoises, it got strong mid tier units, and strong archers. Because you can bring tortoises, and because it's just a very strong faction, it's even above Saba and Misacely. And I don't think I need to explain why Rome is at S tier. Just pick the Evocati cohorts with some veterans and with the strong archers, and I have to say good luck fighting that. For land medals, I have to also rank it at S tier, above Misacely, but I wouldn't put it above Saba, because Saba definitely counters Rome with their strong carry, because Rome doesn't have any shield wall, and the Cataphracts will destroy the units if they don't have shield wall. And the mascots will do a decent job against the legionaries, or you can just psycho charge them with the Cataphracts. The only trouble would be the strong archers and maybe some cavalry. Next up, we got the cat factions. And to be honest,
It doesn't matter if you have shield or not in your swords. Like, if it's even bad to do shield in your Saba, because then you can't pin the camels. So again, he's viewing Chrome in land as it's in siege, which is wrong. Rome, in my opinion, isn't an S tier faction, it's an A tier faction, because it has obvious weaknesses. The cav is kind of dog shit, so it's easy to abuse Rome by just like sniping the cav and then kiting Rome. That's it. Like, you just have to kill the cav and then you can kite Rome and then force Rome to play your game, basically. It's still probably the easiest faction, but it's vulnerable and inflexible. So I cannot give them S tier ranking for land. For siege, kinda the same as FightMe's ranking.
honest, I don't want to rank them. I would just straight up put them at F tier, because I just don't want to see these factions used in multiplayer battles, because it isn't fun to use and it isn't fun to fight against. And
I disagree. Hard disagree, because it requires a lot of micro to use nomads effectively, and it also requires a lot of micro to counter the nomads effectively. So it becomes a really interesting game, because the game depends entirely on the skill level of the players. Like, if you're slow, or if you have dogshit micro, you cannot play well with nomads. So of course I put them in S tier for land. And in siege, it's more nuanced. Rositia in B, because of the 150 range horse archers, and you can bring 5 of them. Ruxolan in C because of Tregu, and Masagateo in D because, I mean, I don't like this faction. I think it's kind of dog shit.
fun is definitely important, so yeah, just don't bring these factions. Next up, we got Armenia. And Armenia in land medals is basically the same as Parthia, but with better mid tiers because of the cardiacs. And that is also the only reason why I put it above Parthia. And for sieges, it's a different story. I do think
I mean, Armenia's cardiacsmen are pretty good. I put them in B because you don't have to go for cardiacsmen or axemen in general. You can just bring human as your own infantry, then you bring like 4 east archers, 4 singers, horse archers, and then there are scatterfucks, and then you go full kite. If you want to be extra competitive. If you don't want to be extra competitive, you can just do standard build with cardiacsmen, I guess. But that's not where Armenia will shine. For siege, I put Armenia at C. I really like Armenia because cardiacsmen almost always get good kills on defense. You have Persian Cav, you have Cappadocians, no horse archers, cataphracts, Eastern Stingers, everything you need for a good Sally faction. But because they don't have camels, I cannot put them like higher. Camels are just very important, obviously. And because they don't have camels, they're more of a group sage faction, because Eastern Cataphracts are really slow, and then Persian Cav has really bad armor, and Cappadocians cannot kill, a lot, especially heavy infantry.
I think that Parthia is better on defense, but Parthia is almost not usable on attack, and Armenia is because you can bring the Axemen, and because of the option that you can bring Armenia on attack, I will have to
I disagree again. Parthia has camels, what do you mean?
put it above Parthia, but just remind this, Parthia is better on defense, Armenia is better on attack. Alright, now
I disagree again.
We're getting towards the big boy factions. Now let's start off with Seleucid. Seleucid can bring tortoises, so it's a tortoise faction. It has strong Syrian archers, they got free spears, they got 4x swords, they got elites. Is it above D tier? 100%. But the question is where in B tier deserves this spot? It's somewhere here around Macedon. Seleucid got Hillman, and that's why it has more options than Macedon, and that's why I have to rank it above Macedon. That was easy ranking. And for land battles, Seleucid is bad. The only very strong army that Seleucid can bring is the carry spam spoiler with the elephant spam. I showed it.
What the fuck is this dog shit? Tell me, the fuck is this dog shit? 4 elephants. Who the fuck will let you play with 4 elephants? Maybe some randoms, I guess. But yeah, this is a dog shit build. It's never going to be allowed in any tournament or event. So why are you even using this? Like, why are you even showing this in your tier list? But yeah, I mean, he's kind of right. Like, usually you'd bring at least 1 elephant, usually 2, like the Syrian and the Tachian elephant, and then you would rush against barbarians because this is your only chance of victory. But you don't have to go with this every time. You can go with a standard build like Turk swords, like maybe 1 Hellenic Rokaf, maybe with 1 or 2 elite swords. That's against Greek factions. Seleucids is also good against Easterns, kinda. I mean, it's decent, so you don't have to go with elephants. It's pretty much only against barbarians and Rome, because you cannot win with any other option.
In one of my previous videos, and I got a lot of comments that you guys used this army and destroyed everyone. So
Oh my god.
it is a strong army, it is a little bit counterable, but I don't want to rank a faction just based on one strategy, and that's why I have to rank it somewhere up here. It got the median carry, which is nice. Actually, because of that, I have to put it at the top of D tier.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious you don't play land.
Yeah, I'll put it up here. Alright, now we got the big boys. Suebi, A tier, bomb. Above Pergamon and above Galatia. Is it above Massilia? No. I think Massilia can beat Suebi in a 1v1. Can Suebi beat Galatia in a 1v1? It definitely could be, especially on defense, but also on attack. But Galatia does have the better archers. And for land battles, A tier, bomb. Above Massilia, easy. Just that one ability, which will give your army an insane charge bonus, makes this faction an S tier. You got the Suebi Swordmasters, together with the Club Levy, even some Bloodsworn could be very strong in land battles. You got the broken slingers, trust me, these slingers are broken. Don't shoot them because it's not worth it, they just don't die. They have an insane missile block chance. And it does have a chance to beat Rome actually, but it's definitely harder to use. But if you pull that charge off, yeah, I'm gonna put it above Rome. So next up we got Syracuse, which is a...
No. I put Suebi in A tier. I mean, he's right. With fast charge, and with the right build, of course, you can beat like Boia, Italis, Galatia, Rome, Arborni, Iceni. Yeah, like barbarians really. But the thing is, you have to be really good with Suebi, because Temi, for example, can slow you down with Levi Freeman, and then your fast charge is out. And what the fuck are you, how the fuck can you beat sword followers and Hawthorne? So yeah, you need to be really good, or even specialize in Suebi in order to make them compete against the top factions. So technically, yeah, they're probably among the best, but only if you specialize in this faction and are really good with abusing fast charge. Other than that, I mean, they're not that strong. They don't have any infantry to hold. They are very weak to cav, so Saba will demolish this faction. Even Massilia, like Massilia with the full rush build, I've destroyed better players than me playing with Suebi. I've destroyed them with Massilia, and it wasn't even that hard to do it. So they're very, very vulnerable. So there's no way they're S tier.
Interesting faction for land battles. It's somewhere in the D tier, and I will put it behind Macedon. They got whack carry. They have Samnites though, which is a positive point. The carry just hurts them a lot compared to Macedon, and they got no low tier, so that's why it's up there. And it will also have a very hard time against Lustani, so it might be even behind Lustani, but I will give it the benefit of the doubt. But for siege battles, it's a very strong defensive army. You can also even bring it on attack with the hoplites and the four swords and the Samnites. You can bring them.
I don't think they have bad time against Lustani, because you can just go kite. You don't have to spam infantry.
Broken mid-tier army. And you got Bleric Slingers, which in defense are just so strong. I prefer them over Erevachu. To be honest, I also prefer Erevachu over Nabatea. So I think I have to put it like this. Would I bring it above Pontus? You can do more with Pontus, more...
Okay, slightly better, but again, should put Erevachi in A tier. But yeah, let's see. Syracuse, I put Syracuse in E. Partly because I don't like this faction, but yeah, I just don't like that they don't have anti-cav options, so they cannot help the Hippias and Citizen Cav win the Cav fight, like Athens and Macedon though. So I think they're slightly worse version of Athens. But yeah, that's about it. They're just slightly worse version of Athens. And for Siege, I put them in B because, well, they have Balearics. There are Torx faction that has Balearics, so there it is.
Pila, more interesting stuff. But you can bring more mid-tiers which are strong for Syracuse, and Syracuse is also definitely bringable for attack. I would even put it above Pontus. Next up we got Tylus. So Tylus for land medals, S tier, 100% above Macesli. Their mid-tiers will smack the Legionaries. They have amazing strong skirmish.
Again, this build would be illegal.
They got the good slingers which Macesli doesn't have, and you can bring some Nogary to support it, but I wouldn't put it above Rome. Tylus for siege battles, S tier. Infantry is just so annoying to fight against. You got Peltas, you got slingers, you can do whatever you want. You got Califration infantry if you want. It's just a pain in the ass. And you can even bring it on attack, but on defense, just broken. And I would even put it above Macesli. But Macesli is also good for attack, so that's why it's behind Macesli. And next up we got Athens. And Athens is one of my favorite ones.
How is Tylus behind Macesli, bro? You're I don't know.
They got Cretan archers, they got free spears, they got hoplites, the Forex hoplites, they got the Forex swords, but they like obviously high tiers, but that's not a big problem for me. The only problem is
don't bring Torx hoplites. Only if you're a god with hoplites.
That they lack low tiers. So a Hillman would be very nice to have, but to compensate that they got a lot of mid tiers. And that's why it's
Bad build. Don't bring this into the build, please.
above Egypt because it got tortoises, and it's above Seleucid because it got a lot of mid tiers. Is it even above Iceni or Averni? Yes, I would say so because of the tortoises and the mid tiers. But for defense, Averni and Iceni are just so much better, and that's why I have to put it just behind Iceni and Averni. Athens for land battles is trash. I just don't want to talk about this faction for land battles. It's the same as Syracuse, but without the Samnites. So yeah, definitely.
Athens is not trash in land battles. What do you mean?
Syracuse. Next up, we got another big boy, and that's.
I mean, it kind of sounds like he has trauma from land battles.
Literally boy. Boyai. Is it stronger than Tylus in siege battles? Well, their mid tiers are a little bit better, but they're also riskier because they got less armor. Low tiers are the same, high tiers are the same. Boyai got archers, Tylus got slingers, but better peltas. It's a difficult one. Some people would say Boyai is better, some people would say Tylus is better. I prefer Tylus because it's safer. In siege battles, there's so much pilas, so much.
But it's not safer. Like, you're just more armored, and it's a more, like, I guess, tanky faction, but it's not safer because you have low morale. And if the enemy has a scary unit, and then like they can just route your tribal so easy, so it's not safer.
Missile fire, where armor is just so important, and that's why Tylus is just better than Boyai. And for land medals, it's another close call between Boyai and Tylus. Tylus got skirmish cavalry, Boyai got the heavy horse. What would I rather have? Tylus baseline will win against the Boyai baseline, but the heavy horse are just so nice. For the average person, Boyai is probably easier to play. The tribal warriors are also even cheaper. I have to go for Tylus. Tylus above Boyai. Carthage. Carthage is a tortoise.
I mean, Tylus is easier than Boyai because you don't have to micro the heavy horse and get good chargers.
Faction, and it's strong. It can bring a ton of mid tiers, more mid tiers than Glacia, so it's definitely at A tier. It has strong archers, better archers than Glacia. It's more useful than Suebi, and more useful than Massilia, even though I love Massilia. Carthage is just a very strong faction, and definitely an A tier faction. The only thing it lacks is
Sure.
land medal, it's a difficult one. It's definitely stronger than all these factions, so I have to put it at B tier. The question is it stronger than Erevaci? Maybe, maybe not. It depends how you can use your missiles, because the cavalry is the same basically. Carthage is more versatile than these two factions, so yeah, I have to put it behind Armenian Parthia. Sumeria.
Okay. Let's see. Carthage I put in C. I love Carthage elephant rush builds. Are semi-rush builds. Like, you basically charge the enemy, charge them with elephants, the cav, the infantry, everything, but you'll still have some Balearics for late game, and you can make it work. Also, Carthage is pretty flexible. Like, you can even bring the Numidian Noble cav, which will destroy most other Chaff cav. I don't know how. I think they're going to destroy the Javkav of Macesli though, but it should be interesting matchup. But yeah, like it's mid to high tier, I would say, but it's kind of vulnerable. It's more infantry focus faction. The Cav is not very good. A bit better on Citizen Cav, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, for example, Pontus has a very good chance of beating Carthage. So yeah, I mean, Carthage is an interesting one. I would say it's like mid-tier. Here it's I put in A tier. It's very, very good. So yeah, probably the best Thor faction other than Rome, I'd say, for Sage.
Is another bad faction. You fully depend on your horse archers. Your infantry is just trash. It's hard to pull off a victory with Sumeria. It just takes a lot of effort. So for land battles, it's at F tier, and I would put it behind Sparta even. And for siege battles, it's also at F tier, but behind Lusitani and above Egyptian King. Next up, we got Pope.
Okay, yeah, I don't like Semiras as well. Mm, it's just not my type of faction, but Senes kind of likes them, so yeah, it is what it is.
Focus is a nice faction. A lot of people like it because they got the nice hoplites. They got card
Oh,
X-Men.
I forgot to mention. There's no way Samir is safe in land. It's D or E. The thing is, Samir is one of my favorite factions to play against against new players and siege players, because I just spam skirmishers and then just kite for fun. Or just bring stun repute, and then because most people in siege haven't played enough with cav, they just throw away their cav, and again I just kind of semi kite them. It's not a full kite, but kind of. And it's kind of fun doing so. But against like an opponent of equal skill, if he picks like Arvaki, if he picks Arverni, it's going to be really strong. Like any faction with decent cav, it's going to be very, very strong against Chimeria, because you only have step lancers, which before were good, now they're dog shit, and citizen cav, and you cannot defend your skirmishers with citizen cav. No way. In siege, I put them in F, yeah.
Which I really like. They got decent charge and are really good in combat. And you can combine the Cardi X-Men with the normal X-Men, but you can also bring noble hoplites. The meta previously was to bring the Cardi X-Men with the normal X-Men, but people are now shifting to the beautiful looking Koki nobles, which I like to see.
Yeah.
And this deserves a spot at B tier. The question is where? Koki's got archers compared to Syracuse, so it's better on attack. On defense, Syracuse is better though. Is it better than Bactria? I wouldn't say so, but it's still a very strong faction. And I think where it's at over here is a pretty good place. So Kokis is a similar faction to Parthia, Armenia, Pontus. Kokis got the best mid tiers of all of these. They got the horse archers just like all of these factions. Their noble horse is almost the same as these factions.
What do you mean best meteors? They literally have the same meteors as Armenia.
They got the Hillman. And furthermore, it's just very similar. Carry will lose against the Pontus and the Bactrian carry. I would say it's better than Parthia. This is better than Armenia. Well, for Armenia,
how Kokis has better cav than Parthia? It's literally he pays lancers against cataphracts. What? And Parthia can also bring noble blood cav. What do you mean? I'm done, bro.
you got the cataphracts. So for Kokis, you can bring more infantry. And yeah, it depends. If you're good with carry, bring Armenia. If you're good with infantry, bring Kokis. That's what I would say. And last but not least, we got RDI. And RDI isn't amazing.
But Kokis don't have that good of infantry. You only have Carly Axeman.
To be honest, carry is trash. Your missiles are trash. The two very strong points of RDI, at least in land battles, are the Larry Free Spears with counter carry tactics and Pila, and the Noble Hoplites. But they kill very slow. I would say it's better than all these
He didn't even mention the Marines.
factions. Would I say it's better than Odrician Kingdom? Well, in a 1v1, RDI would do decent with the expert
What do you mean decent? Are you should destroy Odrician Kingdom?
charge defense. But if Odrician Kingdom goes with a lot of
I don't know what to say. Yeah. I think I'll dream nightmares of this build. Like, this is the worst Odrician Kingdom build in land I have ever seen. Yeah, I literally got trauma from this screenshot. Thanks, FightMe.
skirmishers and peltas, RDI has a big trouble. So Odrician Kingdom is more versatile, and that's why I have to put it under the Odrician Kingdom.
How is Odrician Kingdom versatile, bro? How the fuck is Odrician Kingdom versatile? Are you oh shit.
But for siege battles, it's a lot better. The Illyrian Noble Hoplites are just so strong for the price. And in sieges, armor is just much more valuable. You can combine them with the Levi Free Spears. So for sieges, it deserves a spot at B tier. While these are the attacking factions, Macedon, Seleucid, and Athens. And I will have to put it behind those. And there you go. This is the tier list ranking of...
Okay. Where I put Tardy in... I put Tardy in C. The thing is, I'm bad with Tardy. Most people are bad with Tardy, but if you can play them really well, you're going to do so good. For example, there's the biggest Rome to land tournament, Cup of Nations. You're basically assigned a random nation, and one guy, for example, got RDA and destroyed everyone. RDA destroyed Galatia, destroyed Saba, destroyed everything. Like, I was playing, for example, Bakchia, I couldn't do anything to RDA. It was like best of 5. I tried elephants, I tried like infantry spam, I tried balance build, I tried kite, nothing worked. Like, RDA just killed me. Like, there was nothing I could do. So if you're good enough, this faction can even go to S probably. Well, not really S, maybe A. But yeah, you basically just hold with hoplites, support with access, and just peel the flanks of the enemy infantry with your marines. And especially, like, ODK has no chance, what do you mean? Like, any faction that is vulnerable to missile damage, like ODK, literally no way to win unless RDA really fucks up. So yeah, I think they're C. And here I put them in B because the pillar spam is great, especially on some maps where you can get sword side shots. It's just so good. And yeah, lastly, since FightMe didn't rate the Rise of the Republic factions, I put Senones in F, Darkuna in E, as well as Syracuse and Aioli. Then I put Sun Knights at B, and I put, of course, Taras in S, and Rise of Republic Rome in B. B, not A, because they're vulnerable to psycho charging, because they don't have expert charge defense, even though their hoplites are insane. But they don't really have any support for them either. They have some like battle buddies that will die almost instantly, and then some singers, they don't even have archers. Here, for land, pretty much all Rise of Republic factions are F tier because they have dogshit cavalry, so they just cannot compare to the current campaign factions. The only one that can is Veneti, because Veneti's kind of strength is in the cav. Although Veneti is not that strong either, because even though Veneti has like pretty high health on the cav, their armor is kind of terrible. And yeah, I don't think they're that great in land. But I haven't really played them, because in land we don't really play with DLC factions, we're just playing with Grand Campaign, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, these are my 2 tier lists basically, and my thoughts are, well, my reaction to FightMe's tier list. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the comments. So see ya.